How y'all doing today? Today I'm just going to talk about the concept of kingdom marriages and the different types because I heard the phrase going around, and I just wanted to just explain different concepts just to help you figure out if it's something that's best for you, if it's something that's even within your calling or within your plan based off where you are right now. So there are different types of kingdom marriages. The concept of kingdom marriage is technically a union, within the kingdom of heaven, representing Christ. And there's so many different types of kingdom marriages. There are kingdom marriages where two believers who may be on their walk, they end up getting married and going through life and having a godly family, raising godly children. That's a kingdom marriage, and they're varying degrees based off of where we are on our walk and when we end up finding the person that we end up marrying. And a lot of times people just throw out that word, and I just want to clarify there are a lot of different types, and there are other videos that explain it better. I'm not sitting here trying to explain it scientifically. I just want to give you just some examples of what that looks like. So for men going into this season, for it to be a kingdom marriage, the man has to lead. And I know there are situations where women may be talking to someone who you may have a relationship with, and you would like them to be in a different place to lead you spiritually, with Christ and with the Word. And a lot of times, I'm not telling you what to do in your situation, but within a godly kingdom marriage, the man is actually taking the lead in that sense. So sometimes if you are talking to someone who is running away or not with the Word, that could be a sign that that's not the person. In this situation, personally, I actually had to go through a maturation process where I was even ready to be that husband in a kingdom marriage. I grew up a man of faith and got to the point where I was living in the world, and I actually needed to go through a process to definitely have the posture to want to be married and not be in the world. And that that started with the faith. I actually had to get to the point where my faith was solidified, and I knew without having to lean on someone else or a parent or someone else to pray for me. And that was a transformation, right? So growing up, a lot of times we may go through life thinking that it's okay just to believe, when in reality there's so much more for our purpose than just believing. Having a daily lifestyle that equates to praying and reading the Word and growing ourselves. And for men who are kingdom spouse material, a kingdom husband material, or be looking for a kingdom spouse, that is something that we have to find for ourselves, and it is a divine timing that usually happens in our lives. And for women, I would say it's the same thing. So sometimes women you may be in your walk, and you may be looking to find a husband, and I know it's a completely different conversation, but I would just say for your perspective, you could focus on looking on ways to improve your walk also with prayer and your own personal life, to be even in preparation to be a godly spouse or a godly wife in your situation. And a lot of times what I would see is that for men who are looking to identify who they are within Christ, it's important to be aligned with other men who are also already husbands. That helped me a lot. I joined a men's group within the area who had a lot of representation of people who are walking that godly walk, where I could see this is what it looks like to lead a household, to be a man of a house, to lead the family in prayer. And same for women. There are groups that you could join to be in that environment, to foster that type of self-improvement. Because I started to read every day, the Word, and study the Word every day as a result of being in alignment with that type of community. And now how I look at it is that especially the women of faith who are along that step, they're actually already married to Christ in a way, spiritually. And being aligned for men being aligned with Christ, but then also for women to be aligned with Christ, we're not actually out here, choosing and picking spiritually. What we're doing is we're honing who we are spiritually, and then we're aligning with other people who, with a spouse who has a similar purpose and a similar trajectory of walk in our lives. And there's a spiritual marriage, and then there's a physical marriage. And in the physical marriage, we see how a male walks the bride down the aisle, whether that's her father, could be a brother, or any male figure in her life that will be walking her down the aisle in a sense. But spiritually, what's happening is that Christ is symbolically walking the bride down the aisle. And as men, we have to actually be worthy of that by having a relationship with Christ also. And in that situation, it's a union that symbolizes a structure, a spiritual structure. And if you're in situations, and this is really next level stuff. This is all talking about no sex before marriage, which I know in this society is something that is a real struggle. It's a real struggle, and the kingdom marriages is something that I strongly suggest no sex before marriage. And men who bring that up, I think that that they're serious. Men who don't bring that up, that they may talk the talk and walk the walk, but they're not truly at that place. And I know it is a very difficult situation to deal with when the man who's supposed to be leading isn't actually ready. And if that is a thing where you're getting pressured to do things before marriage, it's a sign that you all aren't supposed to be together. And that goes to having your self-control and having your vices all figured out and situated. A lot of times people look like they're fine on the surface, but in reality have a lot of vices, a lot of internal things that they haven't been able to sort through. And a lot of times people match those things with drugs, and sex, for example, and on the surface, and money and material. So on the surface, we may look fresh and clean, but in reality, emotionally, there are things that people are dealing with. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of fasting, because if someone can fast for a certain amount of time, then that they have to have dealt with a lot of these vices already. They have to. There's no way that you could fast for a certain amount of time and still be addicted to alcohol. There's no way you could fast for a certain amount of time and not be heavily addicted to sex or material things or I think that's where it all starts. I think family that prays and fasts together builds a very, very strong bond and grows spiritually. And a lot of times within kingdom marriages, you'll start to find that you align with people who are on your similar path. So basically, the more growth spiritually that you make, it's the more noticeable it will be when you find someone who's also aligned spiritually. And my goal is just to help as many people elevate to the next spiritual level as possible, especially men, because I know that there are women who are diligently working and getting to those levels. And I know that there are men who are also working to get to those levels. And I'm just looking to help put a path so we can all do that together, so we can all fellowship and we can all build our faith and build the kingdom as a whole. So I know I said a lot of different things in this video. I might have been all over the place. I'm just doing the best. I can to just deliver a message that helps people, because I know that it's a lot of information out there, and I know that a lot of that information is confusing, and being able to just share in a perspective of a kingdom aspect of what it looks like to court, I think it's important, especially for young adults and especially for people who are in a space where the world does have influence on how we view relationships. So I hope that helps. If you have any opinion, do you think that people like-minded should gather? Just let me know. There's some things that we could do to be able to have a godly courting space where people can grow in the faith and to be able to fellowship. So Take care, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.